If you respected Miley Cyrus before, when it was convenient for you, and all of a sudden you've got no respect for her now, what does that tell me about you? What does that tell me about the judgments you're willing to make, the excuses you're willing to make when it's ideologically convenient for you?
I'm a vegan, but the reason that I kind of started this was because I had a fish that was highly intelligent. And I'm also highly stoned.
2,000 years later.
How can I love someone I never touched? You lived under the water, but I love you so much. You've never been on land, and you've never seen the sky. You don't know what a cloud is. Why does everything I love have to die? They all wanted to see you be as big as you could be. I couldn't let that be. By keeping you small, by keeping you safe. If I could do it again, I'd release you to sea. 'Cause I can't bear to see something so wild just die in a tank. And Pablo, the blowfish, I miss you so much. And Pablo, the blowfish, I miss you so bad. On a Saturday night, we all went out to eat, but I can never decide, so someone chose sushi. I got soup, and I ordered rice, watching my friends eat my friends, ruin my appetite. Oh, Pablo, the blowfish, they only knew you like I do. They love you too. And Pablo, the blowfish, I miss you so bad. I won't forget even 1 second we had. 'Cause you might be gone, but you can never be dead.
We have a lot of bullshit sayings in the English language along the lines of, judge ye not, lest ye be judged. When you hire someone, you're making a judgment. When you agree to work with someone, you're making a judgment. When you refuse to work with someone, you're making a judgment. When you acknowledge and support and donate to someone as a leader of a political movement, as a leader of the vegan cause, you are making a judgment. You choose your leaders. You choose who you're going to respect, who you're going to disrespect. These are all judgments. When we make judgments, we reveal something of ourselves. We reveal and we sometimes discover who we ourselves really are in making judgments. So make your judgments carefully. Mike Tyson was, until a few days ago, a celebrated leader of the vegan movement. A lot of people sympathized with him. A lot of people supported him. It's not clear if he ever had a vegan diet at all. He claims he was vegan for several years, but there are film clips of him eating meat and talking about eating animal products from within those 2 years. So it may be he just got hyped up doing an interview on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and he knew Ellen was vegan, and he started talking about being vegan himself. But what does it say about you if you chose Mike Tyson as your leader? Yeah, he said he was vegan for a few years there. He now openly states that he's ex-vegan. He also converted to Islam. He also converted to Buddhism. He also converted to communism and got a massive tattoo of Mao Zedong, the dictator of China, on his body that he still carries on his body to this day. Mike Tyson has a long history of extreme ideological flip-flops. And dare we forget that he's a convicted rapist? He had his day in court. He had his trial. He went to jail for rape. So what does it say about you if you're willing to set all that aside and recognize him as a positive symbol for veganism? The only thing he could possibly be a positive symbol of is the fact that any idiot can convert to veganism. That no matter how stupid you are and no matter how brain damaged by decades of drug addiction you may be, veganism is such a simple idea and such a simple practice that even you can practice it. And of course, that's what Mike Tyson has in common with Miley Cyrus, is a long history of drug use, a long history of drug addiction. If you respected Miley Cyrus before, when it was convenient for you, and all of a sudden you've got no respect for her now, what does that tell me about you? What does that tell me about the judgments you're willing to make, the excuses you're willing to make when it's ideologically convenient for you? Someone like Donald Trump, he's not wrong about everything. I could make a whole list of things that Donald Trump just happens to be right about. I could make a list of things that are infinitely debatable, neither clearly right or wrong, but that happen to be ideologically convenient for me to support Donald Trump on. I think Donald Trump is a terrible human being. I think Donald Trump is an imbecile and totally immoral to his core, but he can't be wrong about everything. There are some big issues he's right on, like China. That's an issue involving 1 billion people in their struggle against a communist dictatorship. The same communist dictatorship that Mike Tyson supports, the same communist dictatorship created by Mao Zedong that Mike Tyson has tattooed on his arm as it happens. Yeah, you know what? Donald Trump's position on China, it's ideologically convenient for me. Am I out here making excuses for Donald Trump, supporting Donald Trump, or recognizing him as some kind of leader? No. All right? My judgment of who he is also tells you something about who I am and my character, right? I'm a person of principle. I'm someone who at least tries to be an intellectual, who tries to have opinions that are based on active research, not just based on my personal prejudices, biases, convenience of the moment, right? From my perspective, someone like Donald Trump is utterly despicable, and he would still be despicable if he were right about twice as many issues in politics. The guy is so erratic, he flip-flops on issues all the time. It's totally possible that the day after tomorrow, he's going to announce that he supports a $15 minimum wage and free healthcare for the poor. It's totally possible. And I still won't support him because I have a judgment of who he is and his character. And that really matters. It matters even for someone like Mike Tyson. It matters even for someone like Miley Cyrus. And guys, I've been doing this thing, critique of what's going on in the vegan movement, for over 5 years now. And the fact of the matter is, I'm all alone precisely because I'm unwilling to make this kind of moral compromise. What sort of person is Joey Carbstrong? Joey Carbstrong has a whole lot in common with Miley Cyrus. He has a whole lot in common with Mike Tyson, right? Joey Carbstrong, long history of drug addiction, history of being in and out of prison on serious criminal charges. Like Mike Tyson, to my knowledge, not like Miley Cyrus. I don't know what prison record she's got. But if Miley Cyrus hasn't been to prison, it's just luck that she never got caught, right? Let's face it. When I look at someone like Joey Carbstrong, I've got to look at him the same way I'd look at Mike Tyson and Miley Cyrus. He may be right about one or two issues today. He may have struck on the right answers to a couple questions. I've got a long memory. I can remember when he was in Chiang Mai, Thailand, supporting Durian Rider. Can you remember that? Can you remember that he went through an ideological period of being a Durian Rider flunky, a Durian Rider clone? And who's he following now? He's following Paul Bashir. What's your judgment of Paul Bashir as a leader in the vegan movement? Also a longtime drug addict, also a lot of the same problems of moral character and, shall we say, limited intellectual potential that we see across the board here with all these examples. Yes, you have to judge. You have to judge people in terms of how much integrity they've got, how much raw intellect they've got, how much intellectual potential they've got. Part of Donald Trump's problem is indeed that he's stupid. It's not just about right and wrong. It's not just about ignorance as opposed to being well-informed. There are also judgments we have to make here about raw intelligence, but how much potential this person has to investigate the truth and learn the truth and figure out right from wrong on the fly. And when I look at someone like Paul Bashir, when I look at someone like Joey Carbstrong, when I look at someone like Miley Cyrus, and then I got to turn around and look at their hundreds of thousands of followers, I have to ask, aren't you people afraid to hold this person up as your leader? Don't you have a moment of trepidation in reflecting on what this means for you and you and you and the judgment on who you are? How do you feel? There must be people in this audience now. How do you feel looking back knowing that you looked up to Mike Tyson as a leader in the vegan movement, and now it's revealed he's not even vegan, and in a real sense he never was. It seems like he never even ate a vegan diet consistency for any number of years. He was a convicted rapist. That didn't matter to you. He converted to Islam. He converted to Buddhism. He obviously had a track record of flip-flopping through conversions to one extreme ideology after another and never really believing in them and never really practicing them. And yes, by the way, irony of ironies, Mike Tyson also supported Donald Trump for president. Good luck trying to put together some kind of coherent political program out of that. Good luck! Good luck trying to put together a coherent political program out of veganism. When in the 21st century, the reality is a guy like Joey Carbstrong manages to get a few radio interviews, television interviews, a few newspaper articles written about him, and everyone jumps on his bandwagon and supports him as this great leader for veganism. And he's not. I sympathize with Joey Carbstrong. He's someone I've chatted with a little bit. He's an idiot. He's an imbecile. Okay? I'm above 40 years old. How many people have you known in your whole life who started off dumb and turned out brilliant? How many have you known? I've known so many people who were brilliant, who had a lot of intellectual potential, and they ended up stupid, right? There are people with a lot of potential, but they become drug addicts, and it snuffs out the intellectual potential. There are people who are brilliant, but they become depressed because they live in a society where they're surrounded by a conspiracy of dunces. They're surrounded by morons, right? And it snuffs out their potential and they do nothing with us. That's very common. I've seen that again and again and again. All right? I can't remember a single example of someone where, they were stupid. They were stupid in the way Donald Trump is stupid. They were stupid in the way Miley Cyrus is stupid. All right? And they managed to put the bricks together to build that wall and become brilliant. I've never seen it even once. I still want to believe in it. I still want to believe that I could meet someone who's an idiot and they could turn it around and, discipline their mind and become not just a better person, but really profoundly a smarter person. I don't know. I don't know if anyone can. I don't know if anyone does. All right? But yeah, the vegan movement is so eager to raise up idiots as leaders when it's just momentarily ideologically convenient for you and you're willing to set aside all these other red flags. What does this tell me about you? What does this tell me about us? What does this tell me about the future of the vegan movement? That this is how we operate. Clinging on to one celebrity after another who, in this fleeting and shallow way puts the pieces together for veganism, either as a diet, just in terms of a health fad, or in terms of a moral argument, or in terms of an ecological argument. And then, oh, what a surprise. What a surprise that veganism doesn't mean more to Mike Tyson than converting to Islam. What a surprise that veganism doesn't mean more to Mike Tyson, that he's not more committed to this than communism, which he got tattooed permanently on his body and never covered. And he never saw a conflict between his support for Mao Zedong, leader of Chinese communism, and his support for the Prophet Muhammad and conversion to Islam. And now you're surprised that he's just as dramatically and just as suddenly given up on veganism. All right? Miley Cyrus always was a crackhead. But now, only now, it's inconvenient for you to face up to just how stupid she is, just how damaged by drug addiction she is. All right? What is the future of the vegan movement? It's you and it's me. All right? It's a bunch of isolated individuals on the internet trying to find our common ground, trying to find a methodology to take this incredibly simple idea and fashion it into a political program to challenge the status quo, to challenge the indifference of millions of people, to transform daily life as we know it. Who's up for the challenge? Is it you or you or you? Do any of you watching this video doubt that you have more intellectual potential than Miley fucking Cyrus? Grow up. Stop looking for leaders. Stop looking for them on YouTube. Stop looking from the internet. It's not going to be Paul Bashir. It's not going to be Miley Cyrus. It's not going to be Joey Carbstrong. It sure as shit is not going to be Mike Tyson. All right? The future of the vegan movement is you.
Good morning. I love you. You're beautiful. Yes, you are. And you know what? Today is a new day, and you are starting an entirely different life.
I have been very depressed for the last few months, and I am waiting for my damn therapist to finish her vacation so I can have someone that is a licensed professional help me with this. You know, having suicidal thoughts and not wanting to exist is not a pleasant place to be emotionally.